Welcome to episode, what is it, 4? Ladies and gentlemen. Champs once again. And I told everybody. I'm gonna let the others introduce themselves, but
No, I don't want another dynasty, bro.
it's over.
I fucking hate dynasties, dude. Let other people win.
Okay, well, you heard it here first. Someone's excited about this episode 4. We're a little short-handed today. Davison and Danny couldn't join us, and we were not able to find any replacements. But that's okay. We'll do a little special episode today. A little trifecta here. We got the trifecta of Abdullah, Liam, myself. I'm Nate, and yeah, let's get this episode kicked off with what the man is wearing on his chest. The Super Bowl. We'll all talk about it, but Abdullah, take your time. Say what you gotta say.
I mean, it's been a rough year for me, I talked a big game all year as one does, especially me. And it was a rough one because we lost some games that we shouldn't have. We played pretty bad in the regular season, to be honest. But I just had a feeling. And when Abdullah has a feeling, it's never wrong. Don't tell my girlfriend that. But I just want to say that was one of the most stressful games I've ever watched in my entire life. I think maybe like game-wise, quality-wise, that might have been one of the top 10 Super Bowls ever played. It was just so evenly matched. If you look at the stats, they're nearly identical. The 49ers only had 2 more minutes of possession time to the Chiefs. They both had 2 turnovers, and then the Chiefs only had 1 more first down than the Niners the whole entire game. They were neck and neck. The only thing that you could say was different was the yards. But what made this game feel so good to me is number 15. I've been saying it all year. The other person has number 15 on their side. And that's all you need. And he proved it. The 49ers, they made some decisions for sure.
Decisions were made.
Decisions were definitely made. I don't know if well, it sounds like they didn't have that meeting about the new overtime rules, and that's called selling the bag, and all the players did it.
Can we send?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Can we send Shanahan to the sun? Are we done with him? Like, has he ruined enough Super Bowls yet?
Hey,
how many does he have to ruin?
I'm down to agree with you because you were the one that was like, Shanahan, though, he's one of the best coaches, and that's true until he gets the game, he forgets.
He can get to the biggest stage, but he cannot win him. Dude, it's just a complete opposite of his father. Mike Shanahan was just a fucking winner, dude. Everywhere he went, he was a fucking winner.
That gene was not passed down.
I mean, he got a little bit of it. Regular season winner, I guess. Holy
hang
shit.
the banner.
Hang the
banner.
God. I'll hang my banner.
Champion.
I'll hang my banner. My double 2 in a row banner.
Well, I do gotta say this was a really good game. It was boring as hell to start. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to be fair, that might be a little biased because I like offense. I like high scorers. That's why I picked it to be 34-31. I thought it was gonna be a shootout. So at the beginning, it was just a defensive battle, and we're like, oh, okay. Like, this is a defensive game, And then it started, halftime score was close. And then it started to pick up the scoring, and it seemed like teams were going to start exchanging touchdowns late in that fourth quarter. Obviously, that block extra point changes the entire game, makes it a 3-point lead for the Niners.
That's what I want to bring up. Is that the play that lost the Niners the game, or was it fumbling that football that gave the Chiefs the lead?
It didn't lose them the game, but it took the win away. Like it wasn't like the game losing play. You can't put that on that one play, but I feel honestly like it significantly altered their chances to win. It went down immediately.
I'm gonna put it on that special teams fumble, dude.
That's
true. That's true.
Because listen, the Niners had the momentum on lock the whole entire game.
They had all game.
The Chiefs offense looked like shit. You had Travis Kelce trying to his best WWE impression on Mr. Andy Reid. Just get it like the Chiefs were just they were shell shocked the whole entire game. But then once that happens and Mahomes throws a touchdown, that's it. He just sees one goes in. It's like Steph Curry. One goes in, the rest of them are gonna go into. You just can't get
I have to appreciate defense as someone whose two favorite teams are known for defense and nothing else. Iowa has defense right now, and even with the new coordinator, I don't think that's changing.
Yeah.
But and the
I saw
Bears have arguably the greatest defense in history in '85, arguably the greatest defense we've ever seen. And like even some of these defenses with Urlacher and Briggs and Peanut Tillman, dude, like it was just so much fucking fun to watch. And then on the other side of the football, you had Jay Cutler and Rex Grossman, and it just and Jim McMahon is
I saw
not
a
fun.
tweet that's at halftime that was like the Big Ten West was going out with the one final say in the football world.
Yeah.
It's very true. I mean, it looks like
I enjoy defense, and honestly, I kind of like that first half because holy shit, were these fucking defenses pounding, dude?
Hey, let me
some of these hits.
If we're talking about defense, let me take my dub in telling you that the X Factor was gonna be Spagnuolo, and he was the X Factor. He coached one of the most masterful defensive performances I've ever seen. Genuinely. Not in this game, but the whole playoffs, he played explosive offenses. He can trap them into this.
I think
some of that's players, but his defensive scheme, he's in my opinion, now with that 4th Super Bowl ring, he's the best defensive coach probably ever.
I think Spags has been like a real like trust the process kind of guy because he inherited a really really bad defense, and I mean we've seen some coordinators go in and just make a defense instantly better.
Yeah,
and like Wink Martindale has done this everywhere he's gone. It's just he took in this really really bad defense, and there was just progress made every year. It was slow at times, but your staff, Brett Veach, he got in the right guys on that defense. They grew. Trent McDuffie and L'Jarius Sneed, probably one of the deadliest fucking cornerback duos in the league.
It's unbelievable. It went from the Chiefs only being offense, no defense, to come probably the opposite. You know,
they have reversed.
Defense, like that's insane. That just proves the levels that this guy can coach.
Now they're defense and Patrick Mahomes.
If you told me like in 2019 after they just won that first chip, if you told me that 5 years time that the defense would be the one everyone's fearing and the offense would be subpar, you would be laughed at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're right. It was nice. I did like the defense. I liked how it ramped up at the end. I was on the edge of my seat. Not gonna lie, like that entire final 2 minutes going into the entire overtime, it was just absolutely.
I had to lay on the ground face first, not watching. I just had to listen. It was so
at
much.
Work.
No, I got home early.
Okay, you're doing this on the job.
At work, I was acting nonchalant. I was like, "Yeah, no, I don't care." Inside, I was like, "Ooh."
Bro, it was the opposite for me. The first half,
I was sitting in that office mogging like.
Oh, well, congrats to the Chiefs. You can never. I think this has taught the country. Even though you want to root against them, you can't count them out any year, no matter how bad their roster is, or no matter if they lose to Aiden O'Connell in the regular season, it doesn't matter. Playoff times is a different time. If they get into the playoffs, then they're a contender automatically. It doesn't matter if they're the 7th seed. Huge props to the Chiefs.
I think the league needs to be scared that
that team's not going to be that bad.
This was the worst Chiefs roster that we have seen since 2019, and they
won a bowl that
year.
Still
won the Super Bowl. Yep. No. I'm saying from the start of their contender era, so 2018, 2019 to now, this was the worst roster that they have had.
It's true.
They have just been very thin across the board, and it didn't matter.
Yeah. All right.
As much as I love to talk about the Chiefs and everything. I could do it all day, all my life. You know what I mean? That's what I do.
Yeah.
And though the 49ers blew this game completely, that was on them. They lost the game for themselves. That's on coaching. That's on whatever. I have to say that someone that proved me wrong after all the criticism I gave him. I am a Brock Purdy believer now. He's not just a game manager. He's not just given a system. While those things can be true, he played a very complete game in the Super Bowl, and he was the only guy I felt bad for, and I only feel bad for him because
He could.
he did, and I respect him now, and I'll try not to say bad things. I can't promise anything, but I give my hats off to him. The rest of the 49ers, sucks to suck.
I think the inexperience showed a little bit for Brock Purdy.
Obviously,
There were some times where he is just sitting in the pocket for way too long. He's just waiting for something to happen. And towards the end, he started getting out of the pocket and just making the play happen, throwing the ball away. It's just buying himself time. I think when the momentum started to shift in that third quarter, when the Niners offense could do nothing, I think he was part of the problem. Obviously, the play calling, just refused to give the ball to the best running back in the league.
I don't get this. Shanahan is known for running the ball. He just completely abandoned it. He just abandoned everything. How do you
crazy.
do that? It's just so.
With the quarterback who is only in. This was his first year as a full starter the entire year, and you're putting. And he hasn't shown like Tom Brady, Patrick Mahomes clutchness like they did right off the bat. He's just been a very good quarterback. But you're putting the biggest game of the year on this inexperienced guy's arm. You're putting it on him. And of course it crumbled. Of course it crumbled.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not following.
I mean, you can blame it on that, but that's obviously inexperience, and he'll learn from that. I'm blaming this on Shanahan. I even with the calls he made, I'm just saying, like, in overtime, you have to know the rules. You know what I mean? You gotta know what's happening. When I'm not joking, I knew we were gonna win the Super Bowl the minute they said we're taking ball. I was like, oh, okay, I'll take the ball.
Okay, here's a question for you then. Let's say you're in Fred Warner's position and you know the rules. Are you taking the ball first?
No, I'd rather play knowing what I have to do than leaving it up to chance, like my defense to save me. If I'm a team, I'm rather seeing if I have to get 7 or I'm seeing if I have to get 3. Like, you know what I mean? I like to have that optimistic instead of you choosing the path and then just hoping it works out. Especially if you have one of maybe the clutchest player of all time on the other sideline. You have to know what you're gonna do because you gave him 3. It's like you can't give him any sort of a chance to win.
He's locked in. He knows what he has to do.
He's gonna do it.
I agree with that.
He's gonna sassy walk and do this all day long.
Oh yeah,
I know what it looks like, but that's what he does.
He was like, what does that mean? Does that mean huddle up? Like, what does that mean? Like,
I mean,
I don't get that.
I saw people say that it's like he has autism and he's stimming.
Bro, he's overstimulated.
Whatever he has, it's working. So that's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Abdullah, I agree with you. Taking the ball was not really good. I think in the new rules, which they should have known, I'm genuinely shocked that they didn't know that.
I mean, you got to.
I feel like you want the mental break. You want obviously it's not a break for your defense, but you want to give your offense although yes, the defense plays a very, very large part. They scored the points, and
it's just so beneficial to know what you have to do instead of leaving it up to chance. It's so much better to know what I have to do. Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I'm gonna game plan. I know I have to score a touchdown. There's probably calls for that. There's probably things that you could do better. But they're just like, we just need to get some type of points. That's not how you play, especially against like a Brady, against a you know what I mean? It's just
that's true. They went in with the just got to get points mentality.
Yeah,
100%, and that's not gonna work.
Especially when your defense is playing in that much of a defensive grudge match. They're tired
Yeah.
as hell against a team. It's just
Yeah, I
I'm
agree.
not mad about it. I'm not mad about it. That's 2 in a row, baby.
He's mad about it. He's
That's
mad
2 in
about
a
it.
row,
All
baby.
right.
A closing remark I have before we get into, is this a new segment?
Yeah.
Is this the
But
debut of? Okay.
what do you gotta
Okay.
say? What do you gotta say?
My
What's
my
your
closing remark is that I personally very appreciated the hate that these two teams had for each other. I really liked that.
It was
They were
fun.
it was just really fun, and it just ramped everything up. Like even
Absolutely.
in this, like, no, I wouldn't say boring, but there wasn't a ton going on in this first half. But God, the just hatred that these teams have for one another, I
Well,
love it.
Darius
I love
Sneed
the
slapped
passion.
Ayuk. Slapped.
That's a
That's
decision.
true.
That was a decision.
It set the tone, kind of. I mean, Sneed kind of did get cooked, but other than that, I agree with you. All right, but like Liam said, we got a new segment. This segment was proposed and brought to life by Mr. Rusmov himself. It's one we're pretty excited about. It's one we're going to continue when we have all the guys back too, for sure. We're going to keep cycling it out, but when we come back, who's balling? All right, welcome back, and welcome to the first installment of Who is Ballin'. So each episode we'll pick someone from the last week that has been ballin', and maybe they're getting the credit they deserve, maybe they're not. We're here to highlight them and applaud them week in and week out. I'll kick us off here, and I'm going to go NBA since football is over and NBA is really in full swing now. My player who's balling, Jeremy Grant has been balling. Now, don't get me wrong, the Blazers are 15 and 37. They are not balling. If there is any bright spot on that team, it is Jeremy Grant. Over the last 10 games that he's played over 10 minutes in, there was that one against the Spurs where he played 10 minutes. I'm not counting that. But in those last 10 games, he has 94.8 points per game in the last 10 games. The Blazers are 5-5 in those last games. But he is definitely making his impact. He's shooting about 50% from field goal in those 10 games. So, like I said, not really highlighting a win streak, not really highlighting the Blazers by anything, but he has been balling, and since he's on a crappy team, I don't think anybody cares. So there we go. Jeremy Grant, you're balling.
I'll keep it in the NBA. But we're going to go over to the Eastern Conference, and it's going to be a team that is not so much under the radar anymore after their past month. It's the Cleveland Cavs. Who at one point were 16 and 14 and are now 35 and 16.
Wow.
Wow.
19 to 2.
Just I mean, it's just like we see this happen a lot. I feel like they're kind of the Bengals of the NBA recently, in the sense that they just get off to like these kind of just iffy starts and then just get super hot for no particular reason. But even for like this, like getting even for super hot, this is pretty insane. 19 out of 21 is no small feat. Are we witnessing a Cavs revival? Are we witnessing them having success without LeBron? I hope so. That'd be a good storyline.
I mean, they did make the playoffs last year. They just fell short to my glorious King Jalen Brunson. But it's happening again this
year. As you do.
Cavs Wolves finals coming up.
I like your guys' takes in basketball, so I'm also going to do basketball, but I'm going to go to the college basketball side of things. I was going to go with the Chief, but you guys are probably sick of it. I have to start, coping with the NFL
Move
season.
on.
It's over. Sadly, it's over. And this one's going to hurt me to praise because it just happened today, and it was one of the most embarrassing games I've ever watched in my entire life out of Kansas basketball. Kansas gets blown out by Texas Tech tonight, 79-50. The person that I want to highlight is Darian Williams, the point guard for Texas Tech. Tonight, he dropped 30 on the number 6 team in the nation, and he went 12 for 12 from the field.
Ooh.
Now, he didn't miss one shot. He has high stakes in the Big 12. This can bump Kansas. This gives, first of all, Texas Tech is a fringe team right now. This boosts their resume. This is a huge game that they probably needed to make a case for themselves, and he absolutely balled out. Especially he didn't miss a single shot. You only can do that in like 2K. So
And
I just think he needs a spotlight. He that was unbelievable.
And in points per game on this team, he is sixth.
Yeah.
I mean, I honestly can't even blame Kansas for this happening. I don't think they're really game planning around him. I mean, you have a guy on this team averaging 17 points a game, and Pop Isaacs. I would focus on him too, but apparently Texas Tech has found another weapon.
And I'm gonna blame. Yeah. I'm blaming this loss on Bill Self getting kicked out of the game, not because we suck. Okay, we're fine. It's just fine.
This is Darian Williams' third straight game in double-digit points.
He's cooking.
Prior to this, his average was not double-digit, but in a couple games it might be. Wow, is Texas Tech a team to watch for a run? Is it too early to say that?
They've had history in the tournament, so they've been there. But beating this team that badly is just, you can't help but think that. He also didn't miss a single free throw. Like, it was just unbelievable.
Liam, I want to quickly make not to your player, but not to your specific take, but just your recognition of the Cavs. The Cavs are second place in the East right now. And although the East, I mean, isn't necessarily tight. If you look at it, it kind of is. It's the Celtics, and then it's tight in the Eastern Conference.
Come down.
I mean, the Cavs are 5.5 games back. Bucks are 1 game behind them. Knicks are 2 games behind the Bucks. Sixers are technically a half game behind the Knicks, but without Embiid, you're not really winning anything. And then the Magic are kind of sneaking in there in the top 6. I mean, the East, are we seeing that bottom? Not bottom, but the rest of the East get a little competitive now?
I'm gonna make a hot take. Maybe not a hot take, but I think whoever finishes with that 2 seed is gonna have the best chance for a finals run. Outside of the Celtics, because everyone's expecting, not everyone, but a lot of people are expecting a finals appearance from the Celtics. Yeah. But the 2 seed, you avoid playing a team like the Celtics until the conference finals. You're gonna get teams that aren't gonna be easy, but I would much rather face teams like the Heat. But on paper, I would much rather face teams like the Heat or the Magic in the second round than the Celtics.
Well, I'm gonna bounce off of you here. I like this take out of you because for the East, it feels like it's final. It's like the average NBA season where the 1 seed is like they're probably going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, so you're definitely going to have to play them. But I like that whoever finishes the 2 seed because you're going to get the Cavs, the Bucks, and the Knicks, who have this season played pretty well against the Celtics. The Celtics, who are known for playoff choking, in fact, a little bit like the Cowboys, like the Niners, you must say. But I like that take. All 3 of those teams that are in contention for that 2 seed are teams that could, advance. Like it's not like the Celtics are gonna dominate.
I mean, at that point, it's just you as a 2 seed, you cannot look ahead. You cannot look ahead because we've seen teams do it in past years, and then the Heat come out of nowhere after barely winning 40 games and make the finals. So it's just exactly playoff Jimmy's a different kind of guy. you have to take it series by series.
Oh, yeah.
And I think that the coach who is going to do that best is going to be Tom Thibodeau. In my opinion, I think Tom Thibodeau is going to do best at keeping his team focused and grounded.
Especially with the trades we just made, which I'll get into later. But
Thibodeau, former Timberwolves legend. All right, we'll talk more about the NBA for definitely later, but also right now as we move into a familiar segment, one we introduced last week. This ranked hopefully goes a little bit quicker with only 3 guys. But we're gonna move into ranked, and we'll see you there. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Ranked. I said we're gonna stay with the NBA because we are ranking the 2023-24 NBA icon jerseys. Specifically the icon jerseys because technically the NBA doesn't have home or away jerseys anymore. So we went the icon, which are the ones with the team's colors, not the white ones. The white ones would be a little too boring. So we got all the jerseys here. At the bottom, all 30 of this year's icon jerseys. And just like we did up here, we're going to rank them. So let's just get
Go ahead
started.
and put the Celtics in B.
Boston Celtics. What are we thinking? I say it's a classic, so I say B or A. I could see either way.
I'm gonna go B because I think there's I mean they might find themselves in A little bit later because you know how we like to move, but I like to B to start.
I'm gonna go B. I just like they're not too simple, but I don't think there's enough there to justify an S or an A. And I just like they don't have like a classic look anymore. They've kind of gone away from that, and part of that is like material and font. But it's just they look modern. They're nice. They're clean.
They're not. There's Isaiah Thomas.
He made them look good. He made it look good.
Yeah, I agree with this. Ooh,
all right.
that's an A for me. That's an A for...
I'll go A.
I love their colors, so I'm gonna say
I love their colors. It reminds me of the Mets, dude. It's just like
like you said for the Celtics, it's like a classic jersey but more modern. But I feel like this one just does it better.
I agree, and I almost want to see the Celtics with the font black. I almost just like I want to see how that would mesh with the green.
Because I think they have a jersey like that.
They do. I just like I don't think I think they use it very rarely.
They like
the Celtics jersey
like
this
championship
year.
banner jerseys. I don't like those.
That Celtic jersey that one alternate Celtics jersey this year with like the like almost beige tan on it, like with the new font.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? That one's clean. That one's really clean.
Those,
in my opinion.
What are they called? They don't call them City Edition anymore. They call them like
there's the City Edition, then there's the Statement.
That's what I was thinking. I think that's their Statement jersey.
Oh, okay, Nate. I do like the beige.
The Celtics do their colors very well, and it's kind of hard to do green well, in my opinion.
It's just, I mean, I feel like it's easier to do.
This is their Statement jerseys.
Those are what I like. I really like those. I just like it's hard to do green with a color that's not white or black. But the issue that you run into with green and black is that it just feels like plain at times.
I don't like these. I'm gonna go D.
Wow.
These, I'd say C.
I say C.
I'd say C. Here's the thing.
I don't.
These give me slightly better than the Houston. Like these give me the same vibes as the Houston Texans jerseys.
Yeah. I don't like this red stripe on the side, but blue and red on the front, like I don't have any issues with it.
I can do a C, but I can do a C.
I'd say low C if we start putting stuff in C.
Do we have to put Lakers in A?
It's either A or B. If you're gonna, I don't know. I feel like they do the.
You're putting the Celtics in B. I'd say Lakers go with the B. With them.
That's what I was gonna say. If you're gonna put the Celtics in B,
I don't think they have the same problem as the Celtics, but I think I don't like yellow. Maybe it's like a personal thing, but there's so much yellow.
Putting those two together is like putting gas next to a fire.
Gas next to a lit match. Yeah. D. Right. I'm sorry. I don't like these.
Really? I think those are better than those are better than the Pistons C. For sure.
C better than the Pistons.
C?
Yeah, C better than the Pistons.
I can agree. I feel like they're trying to do too much. It's just they're trying to make something out of nothing here.
They're trying to be a classic jersey with not classic concept.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. But I can get behind C.
But that reminds me of Ben Simmons, so actually it could be D.
Yeah, I agree. Oh my god. What an era.
All right, do we dare put them next to
A? Those are so.
They have to be A. S?
No.
I went to a Bulls-Knicks game in Chicago, and both those teams wore those exact jerseys, and it's beautiful in real life. So.
I mean, do we have to consider like the history behind those uniforms?
Well, then you're gonna put the Celtics and Lakers.
That is true. That is true.
I honestly, if you want to put them at the bottom of S, I'm not mad. I love the Bulls.
I just think they're an S.
They have a great color. They have really good color.
I mean, they have the history that the Lakers and Celtics have, but they just do the concept
Put
better.
him in S. Put him in
Yeah,
S.
all right. Yeah.
I'm gonna agree with that one. All right, now we go to this.
I'm
Chiefs
going B. I
colors.
like these.
Chiefs
I could
colors.
be I'm a Chiefs fan, but
I think D.
I think C. I think we found a happy medium at C.
okay. C
Put
between
them,
those two.
yeah, I can agree.
Or are they better than the 76ers?
I don't
I
think
once
so.
again do not like that color scheme, and it's not like because of the Chiefs. It's just the red and
Where
yellow
did the
are like.
yellow come from? Where did the
I don't
yellow
know
come
where
from in
Atlanta got
these?
their colors.
Yeah. I'm not sure where they saw yellow and were like, "Yep, that works."
All right,
I think the
Bucks.
Bucks are with the Celtics and Lakers.
I say Bucks A. I say A because I like their font.
I'm biased and I'd say B.
Oh damn.
I'm fine
I'm a
with B.
little biased.
I'm fine with B or A, but I feel like they're a B in my opinion.
I could go top of B.
Yeah,
I could
okay.
live with the top of B.
I'd be cool with top of B too.
It's
Yeah,
really
they're.
I'm looking at the players' numbers and it's really funny to me.
I feel like they're a little better than the Celtics and Lakers in terms of concept, but
I
I
like their
don't think
green.
they're on the same level as the Knicks.
I like their green better than the Celtics.
I do agree. I don't like the tan. I don't
It's a
really.
little bit weird. Hey, but they are Cream City, so I don't like these, dude.
I just want to go D again. I just get D from these.
I don't like those at all.
I don't like these. I really don't like these.
They could do so much better too. I just
They could.
Their
There's
Valley
so much
jerseys
cooler concepts.
Their Valley jerseys are really good. I feel like any other jersey that they have is really good, but these are like as their like home jerseys. I don't. They're not my
I just
fave.
don't like. They feel like an auto-generated jersey on like.
Yeah,
2K.
they look like you told your Chat GPT to make you a Suns color.
So
It's
like
AI.
last year they had these ones with the word
I
Phoenix
like
instead.
those.
Is that
I
better
like
or worse?
those.
Better or worse?
I like
think that's
those
better.
because that's more like classic. That's like the old ones.
Mhm.
It
I
makes
will
me
say
think of
though-
Steve Nash, dude.
Yeah, if it was their Valley jerseys or their City editions, that's probably an S for me. I don't know. They're really nice.
All right. I hate the
just-
new Cavs jerseys.
I
Those are
don't like
clean.
these either.
I
I
say
feel like they're.
I
I like them.
they're compared to what they came from. Big
They're
downgrade.
just so plain.
They're so plain.
so
It
plain.
looks like a warm up jersey.
Who did we talk about last week that had a bad rebrand?
Falcons or Cardinals?
It's like the Cardinals. They had a really good jersey before, and then
I say top of D. I think they're better than the Suns.
those are better than the Suns.
But
Some people might hate us for the Suns, by the way, because I guess you could say they're clean, but I don't like them.
I just don't like
I
them.
personally don't. They look too.
It's just
I don't like
Plain.
I don't like the Sun.
it's like you can do the Sun and make it look good, and they just didn't.
These are clean. These are clean and simple. I'm going C.
I'd say B.
C. Oh, I'm kind of feeling A, but B seems to
A?
be the medium here.
B.
It's hard to go wrong with black, red, and white. To be
All right,
honest,
where are we thinking in B?
I go behind Boston.
Really? You think they're better than?
Actually, no.
I would
between
put
the
them
Bucks
behind
and
Los
Celtics.
Angeles.
Yeah, I'd go behind.
Really?
I'd say right here. I like the Lakers
Okay.
better.
Okay.
In my opinion, I'm agree with Nate.
All right, cool. Golden State Warriors.
I do like their old jerseys better because I don't like.
I just don't like these that much.
I don't like the font that much.
I really
I'd say
don't.
B.
C.
I'd say
I'm gonna go
Ooh.
C.
I'm going to go C above the Hawks, so the top is C.
I can agree.
I can respect.
I would put them
And-
higher if they were the old jerseys, but I feel like the new rebrand, but with also keeping this, like I don't know, it just doesn't. I don't like.
What
the
did they
logo.
change? I forgot. Didn't they just change the font of the Warriors?
Yeah, the font just doesn't look that good compared to the old one to me.
It's too modern.
I've never liked this
logo.
logo. I've never liked this logo of the
It's
Golden
become
I
State
think
legendary
it's
for
Warriors.
unique.
Curry. They had a
Yeah,
way
that's
better
true.
logo in the olden days, though.
I agree.
The Warrior.
I think A.
I think they're very
They're
bland,
clean.
but it works.
They have the opposite problem of the Cavaliers. They're bland, but it works.
It works.
I go
They-
A
it just
behind the
pops.
Knicks.
They also have an insane City Edition jersey.
Oh, you talking about the black one? Wait, what are they?
No, it's like the one with the astronaut. kind of thing.
Oh, H Town.
Yeah, the H-Town ones are so nice.
That's now.
Very nice.
I think the Rockets
Uh,
just have some of the best uniforms in the league.
I
Like
don't
if you
like.
take
I
into
don't
account
like
all
Denver's
three,
at all. I don't
I
like.
I
hate
don't.
Denver's color. I hate their colors.
F.
Yeah, their
I'm
colors
thinking
are
F
bad.
with this one, dude.
I
It's a
mean,
But
weird font. It's an ugly color.
and
Like
then
I'm all
this
I'm.
the
again
red
is
outline.
bland.
What is the red
It's
outline? Where's
bland. It's
red?
bland and has horrible colors. So
It's
I
just
say F.
ugly. I feel an F for both
I'm
them and the
feeling it. I'm
Pacers.
gonna agree with you.
I feel
I
F
just
for
say F
them and the
because
Pacers, to be
it's
honest.
bland and it's ugly colors. Pacers, I'm not too. I like the surrounding.
They have
It's
these are.
enough to
I
do
like the
it.
side of the jersey. I like how that little.
It's enough to give me top of D, bottom C.
Okay, I can top a D. I can work with.
These are better than the Cavs.
I agree. I do.
All right.
Well, I don't agree, but I can see it. I can understand.
They have a lot more going on than the other ones in D.
They do. They do.
Spurs.
I'm going with B. I like them.
I say I feel like they're the same thing as the Celtic Lakers, where it's like you've seen them so much that they're classic that you feel like you have to
Yeah.
give them some props. But I like what they did with the U, but outside of that, yeah, it's just a black and gray jersey. So
It's like the Raiders one. It's just good.
They have tough colors to
what are we
make
thinking?
work.
I'm gonna go behind Portland.
I can agree. Bottom of B.
All right. Now the Jazz.
F.
We're over
F.
halfway.
Put
F.
these
Oh my God.
highlighters in the F.
Put in F.
Talk about a bad rebrand.
This
You
is
know what
probably
this
the
reminds
worst
me
Talk
of?
pro
about a
sports
bad
rebrand.
rebrand.
This
Worst
is like
sports
that
rebrand in
neon.
recent memory.
It's like that neon green Seahawks jersey we all had in fourth grade.
It's just
That's
disgusting, dude.
horrible rebrand,
But this is
dude.
worse than the Seahawks one because it's like yellow. It's not even green.
It's
Now,
not even
if
green.
we were doing the city editions, it'd be S tier, but we're
Yeah,
not.
no, that's what I'm saying. It's like the
When they had
we have?
these city edition ones, like
Eh,
the gradient.
show the new one. Show the purple ones.
I
Liam's
actually
really
don't
gonna.
love the Orange City.
Have you seen the purple ones, Liam? They have that for this year. That one, the first one. That's so nice.
That's
Let me
S
see it.
tier.
Okay, that's SC. Isn't
But
that
like this,
just their old uni from like the Karl Malone,
I don't know why I'm a sucker
like
for OG.
these are the ones. These are the
the
ones that
child
kind of came from.
impregnator?
Those are better. Those are still kind of but those are better than these new ones.
They're
I still
better
think
than
they're
these.
butt, but they are
They're
better than
better.
another case of teams
They're the
rebranding,
Jazz. Like
doing
it
worse.
just says Jazz. Put that logo back. Like,
A
really?
Nah, I don't think
I'm
so.
going
A.
C.
I think C.
C. Okay.
I just
I hate
it's,
the number.
It's bland again.
I hate that the number's off to the side, but what's making it better for me is that it's Luca's number.
C behind Warriors, I think.
I can agree.
would-
I can agree. I can agree.
I think here's the thing. If you're gonna be bland and just do a color and a number and the name of your team, do it like this, where at least looks good and the colors mesh well. Not like.
Can I make a hot
this.
take? I think that if the numbers are center, that they're an A.
Whoa, like every single jersey?
No. The Mavericks. If they center the number
Oh, okay.
on these jerseys and not
It makes
have it
them
off
better. It makes
weirdly,
them
I
better.
agree. I think
I
they're at least.
don't like how the numbers look though. Like that 77 looks like an 11.
It's a weird font.
The font is gross.
Mark Cuban need to upgrade that.
All right.
These are
Rudy
fun.
Gobert's son.
I'm gonna go with you. I like these.
I feel A. These are just.
I like
These
A.
are exactly what Nate. This is exactly the point you just made. Like they're bland, but they do it well. I go above the Rockets, honestly.
I like the Rockets a little bit better personally.
I like the Rockets better because I like their colors better. I don't know if that means
Okay.
That's true. The
I can
red
agree
and
with that.
red and the white pop better.
it does.
Now these
S.
have
S
some
tier. Those are an S
potential.
tier.
S potential.
Put them
See,
in S.
the number is to the side, but that's doing it right.
Oh
All
my
right.
God, this is
Bulls
just a good jersey.
better.
Those are better than
the
the
Kings
Bulls.
are better.
Yeah,
I think they're better than the Bulls.
This is a
I
very
love
good
that.
These are
jersey.
just-
I love the cursive script.
Oh
They
my,
they got
God,
they
it's just-
improved so much.
Like-
they
in the
got
last-
everything right.
The old NBA Christmas jerseys were just.
Yeah. All right.
it
Moving
reminds me
on.
of that.
Miami Heat.
Those are
I
classic.
feel like it's the same tier as the
Yeah.
Lakers and the Celtics.
I go A.
I'm gonna go. I can agree with A, but I'm going
I could
B.
go bottom A.
personally.
Bottom A is what I
Okay.
think.
I knew bottom A. It's just I think the numbers on the side works better than the Mavericks.
Are they better than the Bucks? I think we could switch them. The Bucks go in A, and then the Heat go in B.
I like the Bucks better personally.
I like the Bucks better
Okay.
too.
I can agree with that. Switch them.
I could. The Bucks just have a nice font and a nice green.
Dude, those
Sure, the
Knicks jerseys,
tan is
though.
kind of gross, but like
I don't like the tan, but I think the green and the font makes up for it.
I
yeah.
agree.
All right, move on. Mind you, there are the blue
Orlando
stripes.
Magic.
Listen,
Orlando
their
Magic.
jersey looks so much better in white,
It
in
does,
my opinion.
but these are their icon ones, so we're
I
judging
kind
the
of feel
black one.
D.
Yeah,
I
I'm gonna
feel
agree. If
D.
they're the white ones, it's a B. But if these are like kind of D or C range,
I go D. I just like everyone wants to try the pinstripes
I'd
because
say
of the
right-
Yankees.
I'm
I'd say
gonna go
right here.
above yeah, in the middle between those.
I
can
say they're
agree
better
with
than the
that.
Cavs.
Yeah.
Because at least they're not bland. At least they have that pattern of the stripes.
Yeah, they're getting the stripes over the Cleveland one kind of looks like a practice jersey.
That's
It
what I
does.
said, bro. It
Looks
looks
like
a
something you
practice
throw on in
jersey.
practice, dude.
Hey Nate, that's a nice jersey you have on though.
There's
I'm not
just
gonna lie.
absolutely nothing.
Nate, that jersey you got on is kind of clean. I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah, dude, we gotta hit like the city edition jerseys because there's some nice ones.
Dude, the
Speaking of
NBA
them,
does alternates so well. Oh, speaking of the team, I don't like these.
I'm not gonna make my
I
take
don't like
because I'm
these.
obviously biased.
I don't like these.
I'm gonna go C.
I'll go C, Abdul.
My take is C because they're not good, but like I said, centered numbers, bland. At least they have that second stripe to add some anything to the just
I don't-
solid
I don't like
dark
the
blue.
I don't like the
The
stripe.
stripe,
I don't
yeah,
like the
no.
blue collar. It feels odd.
I think they're
These
better than the
are
Pistons.
but
I
better
could
than
put
the
them here
Pistons.
or here. I
I'm
put
going
them
better
here
than
or
the
here.
Pistons.
I think better than the Sixers, dude.
Okay,
Really?
I'll
But
take that.
I think the
I-
Hawks are better than those.
No, the thing that keeps killing me for the Hawks is that colors.
Yeah, it's just the yellow, dude. Like even if it was like more of a gold, but
I
it's
guess.
just
Okay, I can agree.
yellow's a tough color to make work.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh,
Now
A.
these jerseys are fire.
These are
jerseys
A
fire.
for me. The Raptors.
I'd say A. I'd
I
say
like
bottom A.
those.
I'd say
I
bottom
like
A.
those.
I like
I
the.
hate
I
these.
love. Here's the thing.
do?
You make it.
I
You
hate
make
them.
it. You're making it basic and bland, but you're adding the stripe.
God, I hate it.
I will agree they have a better arsenal to play with. Okay, the more that I talk about it, the more I see a C.
I could say
I think
bottom
C
B or
better than Mavs, in my opinion.
C better than Mavs. God, I just hate these jerseys, dude.
I know that
It's
being
just like-
because you love the Mavs ones, but
All right, we're down to the final row. We're getting
I
close.
don't like the
I
ones.
think F. F.
I hate these. They're
I'm gonna
horrible.
go D.
Oh shit.
I think they're
I think
better than
F-
the ones. I think they're
Top
better
I
of
than
would
F.
put them top
yeah.
F.
Top of F.
Who's
I
in the
could
D?
see it.
Unanimously
Who's
the
last
worst
D?
one.
Last D is the
Yeah, those are worse than the Suns.
All
I
right.
think they're worse than the Suns.
Grizzlies.
C.
Good color scheme, but just so basic. That's
I
my
like
thing.
the font. I think
I
I
like
could go
the
B.
font. I could go I could go bottom B, top C.
I
Personally.
go bottom B. Who's at the bottom of B right now?
Spurs.
I put them behind the Spurs. I think they're better than the Warriors though.
I
I-
agree with that actually.
All right. Thunder.
B for me.
B. I'd say close to top of B. I like the colors.
Yeah.
This is just this is like the odd case of like a weird color scheme, but it works.
I'm
Alright, what
going
do we
B between the Celtics Lakers.
Orange,
Yeah.
black, blue, and white
Yeah,
is
I'm
a,
going
is a
there. I like the
tough
Celtics
scheme.
better. I like the
I
Celtics
agree.
better. But
Now, if we were talking about NBA logos, the OKC Thunder logo makes no sense to me.
it's a little weird, but
It has nothing to do with thunder. It's just like
No.
lines and a shield. Okay. Brooklyn.
these are
They're
D.
mid. They're
Yeah,
just
they're
basic.
These
whoa, yeah, you got
So
sassy with that
boring.
one. They're just
they're so
basic.
basic.
They're so basic.
They're so basic.
All right, where are we putting them?
You
though?
definitely
think
eat
they're
at
better than the
Chipotle and
Cavs.
drink Starbucks if you wear those.
I think they're better than the Cavs still because the Cavs are just so. I feel
I
like
agree.
this is a very fine line of could be
I
an F
agree.
and not F worthy, but
Not-
still.
God, I hate
Not-
those Suns jerseys.
Not mid enough to be C, but not shit enough to be F.
Final two, gentlemen.
I think these are
Pelican.
C. I like the Pelicans jerseys.
I say B, bottom B,
I could
bottom of
I go top
the
of C.
font. The font saves them, in my opinion,
Yeah,
and also
their
this
font is
thing on the
really
side.
nice.
I just too many teams are trying this tan color.
But I feel like theirs makes sense though, because like the Saints are tan.
All right, we
I
put them
mean,
above the
tan
Warriors.
is in the logo for them.
Above the
Ah,
Warriors.
I go
Below
above
the
the
Grizzlies.
Warriors.
I do like them better than the Warriors. Again, the Warriors should be higher, but that font I just don't mess with.
Yeah, they went modern.
I just
One of the things
I
where
just-
modernization killed
I just
them.
don't think there was a need for the modern.
Me neither.
I agree.
It wasn't really.
I like
Last but
the
not
old
least,
orangish logo.
These are S for me. I love
S?
those.
I could see
Yeah, I
top
love
of A.
those.
Top of A. I love the font and I like the color.
Dude, they look so good getting blown out. I'm not gonna lie.
I go A.
Real-
I could go A.
Those are
I'd
really
say
nice.
personally, okay, come on. I'd say top of A.
Are they better
What do
than
we-
Knicks? Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I'd say there's just more happening there. The Knicks colors and that stuff are beautiful, but like the stripes and the font of the Hornets with the two little spokes on the end is cool.
Yeah.
All right,
Because
well
it
there
makes
we
sense.
have
Like,
it. Let's see. Let's review and then think if we need to make changes. S tier jerseys, Kings and the
Yes.
Bulls.
yes.
Yep.
A tier jerseys, Hornets, Knicks, Rockets, Clippers, Bucks. All right,
Yeah.
cool. B, Heat, Celtics, Thunder, Lakers, Portland, Spurs, Grizzlies.
I have no
All
issue.
right.
No, I mean either.
Pelicans, Warriors, Raptors, Mavs, Timberwolves, Sixers, Hawks, Pistons.
In my opinion, I'd rather switch the Pacers with the Pistons.
Ooh.
I think the
I
Pacers are
personally
better.
like the Pacers better than the Pistons too.
I do too.
I think this text thing and the side thing is just
The Pistons are
better.
just kind of butt.
Seriously. It's like I said, the Texans, where it's just like pretty like the colors aren't doing favors either. So
Yeah.
all right. So now we got the Pacers, and now D is the Pistons, Magic, Nets, Cavs, Suns. And
Perfect
then
list.
F is the Wizards, the Denver Nuggets, and the Highlighters. I think we are 100% right with this being last because
Yeah,
holy
that is the
crap.
worst jersey.
That is the worst
I
jersey
do
in the
agree on
league.
this one.
Congratulations,
well-
Jazz. You have the worst jersey.
Congrats. All right. Well, there it is. There's ranked number 2. I think we're 2 for 2 right now in rank.
And
I
agree
personally
with you.
I personally think we've been cooking up some good tier lists, obviously. People have different opinions, but we're gonna stay in the general neighborhood of NBA. We're gonna talk about the trade deadline and also just some other moves and notable things as the All-Star break approaches. But we will be right back.
NBA trade talks. Everybody wants to talk about it. Deadline just ended, so some big moves were made. Some under the radar stuff that doesn't really matter. So I'll try my best to leave out the BS. First off, did you guys see any trades that raised your interest over the trade deadline? There was a couple.
Mine is not a super under the radar one, but I don't think it was like had as widespread coverage. But I really like PJ Washington to the Mavericks
That was a
for
really
Grant
good
Williams, Seth Curry, and they gave up a little bit of a haul. First round pick Seth Curry and Grant Williams, but I think PJ Washington is exactly what they were looking for. And they got their guy. I mean, they want to be contenders right now. I think PJ Washington is just an upgrade, a huge upgrade over Grant Williams.
For me, it seems like outside of the first round pick and then Grant Williams not being too old, but it kind of seemed like they shipped their elders for youth. This makes their team significantly younger. You got a player that, he wasn't necessarily used the right way in Charlotte, but he shown flashes of what he could be. And I feel like when you team him up with the Mavericks and Luka and Kyrie, he can blossom into something you need.
Mm. My
I'm just I'm
take
really
on the
Yeah.
go ahead, Liam.
I'm
Since what?
really just I'm just really starting to like how this lineup is shaping up for them. Washington, a
Mhm.
young, lively. Who has shown some flashes. He fell off from the beginning of the season, but I so far I'm higher on him. And then obviously probably one of the best players in the league, and Luca.
Yeah.
I'm really starting to like this team.
Mhm. My take on the NBA trade deadline. Obviously, I mean, I know a good amount about NBA, not enough to know a lot of like each individual player that was traded. Like some of those more like weird ones, value to be honest. My biggest takeaway from the trade deadline wasn't really a trade that happened. I feel like there was a lot of trades that could have happened, but
Hmm.
none didn't. I mean, you saw things like D'Angelo Russell, DeJounte Murray, for example, uh, and like these there were like these bigger names that thought could be thrown around the trade deadline, and honestly, like I don't want to say underwhelmed, but like I felt like it was a little hyped up more than it actually ended up being. Obviously, these are some big players that are being moved, but not as big as it could have been, I guess. If I had to say anything.
Yeah, I feel like that happens every year. There's always like speculations of players being unhappy or players wanting to go. But at the end of the day, stuff really doesn't happen because teams realize that what they're gonna get back isn't what they exactly need. The teams that you really see make trades in the playoff or not in the playoffs, but during like the regular season is like the teams that I get not necessarily need to, but that the teams that are just like trying to do something. Like you saw the Pistons, they were probably the most active team in this whole trade stuff. They were getting involved in three
Mhm.
ways. They were getting involved shipping their old guys. Yeah,
Hmm.
little action for the Pistons. But it's those teams that are like they're just trying to get something going because they suck. But like the good teams, they
Mhm.
don't really shift away because it's working.
I guess. I feel like another category of teams that usually, or at least I think should be active at the trade deadline are those like fringe teams, like those 5, 6, 7, 8 seeds that are making that late push to get a playoff or a play-in spot, and have just maybe not one, maybe just like one or two blatantly missing pieces. Like, and we talk about missing pieces a lot. Like, for example, I'm going to use the Timberwolves. Uh, their weakest position probably is that point guard spot. Mike Conley's good. He's old and he's fallen off a hill. I mean, he's only averaging like 10 points a game.
Yeah.
And then after that, I mean, we had Troy Brown Jr. I think I don't know if you can count Nikhil Alexander Walker as a point guard or not, but Monte Morris, I mean, I like the addition. It's depth. I kind of like Troy Brown Jr. too, but it just wasn't working. So I bring that up because I'm talking like missing pieces. I feel like contending teams have some missing pieces that maybe just weren't addressed that much.
Well,
I am.
I like that you bring that up. Sorry for cutting you off, Liam. But I like that
Are
bring you
you
up
good?
because that's exactly what my Knicks did. They needed that pieces that would make them from contender or pretenders to a little bit of a contender. What they did to get Alec Burks and Bojan Bogdanovic, that's exactly what we needed. That was exactly what I was talking about earlier on the podcast, that we need that veteran bench presence. I mean, we did trade our future. I don't know. The youth rush in New York is over, but I really like where this team is headed, and those were really big like additions to our team. We did lose today in our first game with them, but Julius is out. We're not fully healthy. Jalen's coming off of a little bit of a health stretch, but we'll get back to
And
you on
that was
this.
not a foul.
No, it was not. And also the tech for him not wanting to take whatever. It was some BS reference.
We could talk
Well,
about
to
that.
to bounce off what you're saying is that the team who actually beat them tonight, it was the Pacers, correct?
The Rockets beat him tonight.
The Rockets. Okay, well their previous loss, the Pacers, um, I think might have been one of the biggest winners. I mean, obviously
Okay.
their trade is farther down as it was in January. It wasn't on deadline day, but they needed a move for a big who was going to add more defense because as of right now they're one of the worst defensive teams in the league.
Yeah.
They are first in offense and almost dead last in defense. Um, and Siakam will help with that a little bit. I'm not sure how much of a difference we're going to see, but obviously they're going to trend in the right direction. But I'm starting to think we might see a little bit of a run from Indiana. I think this year is going to be more of a foreshadowing of what's to come. But
I like the Knicks last year make the playoffs, but
I'd agree. I think they will end up being a 5 or a 6 because they're a 6 currently. And I can see them ending up around that range. But I almost am not expecting, but anticipating like a Heat kind of run. Maybe not quite as far as the Heat made it, but I mean, I'm excited to see Halliburton in the playoffs.
yeah,
I
They
want to
did make
see.
it to
I
the
want to see.
in-season tournament final.
they
They
did.
did. They did. I want to see what Halliburton can do with this team in the playoffs.
That team, when they had something to play for, they played very well.
And I
And
think
another
that
team,
bodes really well.
yeah, and another team that has been playing very well that I also like a trade that they made was the Thunder getting Gordon Hayward. That team
Mm.
is really young, and there's not really that much. There's not too many veterans that know the playoff experience, and they got somebody that, first of all, Gordon Hayward. He's not the old Gordon Hayward, but that he can still put up some points for your team. And him adding to that bench depth to help out those younger guys, it's gonna be a nice looking Thunder team come playoff time, I think.
Really, I've seen some people projecting that he actually starts over Giddy.
I wouldn't do that. I think I mean you can make a case for that, but I feel like Hayward would be better for the veteran presence off the bench because their starting lineup is working very well.
That is true.
The Thunder did have that like little you can't call it 2-game losing streak, a 2-game. They did lose to the Jazz and then get absolutely smacked by the Mavericks. They did so I agree. I feel like the Thunder the top of the West is so tight. I mean, it's really between 4 teams right now, and you see that in the fact that it's the Timberwolves and then the Thunder are 1 game back, the Nuggets are 1 game back, Clippers are 1.5 game, but like it's right there. And so I feel like one of those teams in this last part of the season has to do something to separate them from that glob. And I feel like I like this move for the Thunder, even though it does jeopardize the Timberwolves.
And there wasn't as many trades as you were expecting from an NBA season. Usually teams love to dish and deal. But outside of, the RJ Barrett trade, which I'm wearing his jersey in memory now, that was maybe the biggest trade. But in my opinion, the biggest trade that went down this year was the Clippers getting James Harden, because the difference that team has made since he has gotten to LA, they could end as a 1 seed, where I forgot where they were when they got him, but they were not contending. They were playing very bad basketball. And that team is rolling. And I feel like James Harden really contributed to that. And that's why I feel like that was the biggest trade that has gone down this year, because it's fully exploded a team to the top of the ranks.
They were rolling until tonight.
Okay, here's something. Here's something.
Kidding.
Is this a year? I don't know. Like they're sitting towards the bottom of the Western Conference, but they are above 30 wins. So they're just kind of screwed because of the top 4 teams and their dominance. But are the Pelicans someone to watch out for? With Zion playing 42 games as of right now. Hopefully he continues playing. I think he's healthy, I think, right now.
Yep.
Hopefully he stays that way. The bench depth might become a bit of an issue. I'm not super confident in that bench as of right now out of their top like 6 guys. But I mean, is their starting 5, like, is that strong enough to get them out of the first round?
For sure, because last year before Zion went out with the injury, they were the number 1 seed in the West for a good 2 months. It was unbelievable. Zion, as much as you want to say about him, a hamburger, which he is, not playing, he's a bust. I disagree. That kid, when he plays for that team, he really changes that. Like, he completely changes them. He gives them a
Is
fighting chance, not for a
is he
title, but to make a case for a playoff run.
is he still the first overall pick in that draft, or has
It's
Jaw
probably
jumped
Jaw.
him?
It's Jaw,
Okay.
or it's RJ Barrett. Sorry.
Uh,
Yeah, but
well, I just
that's really all I have for trade deadlines. If you guys have any additional
I
thoughts?
think just while we're on NBA, since now we're gonna start focusing more on the NBA as NFL's done.
Uh,
Uh, um, what
I
are,
miss you.
what are we thinking about the way the standings are shaking up? And like we obviously the way the standings were like a few months ago there can be nowhere close to the way they are when the playoffs start. Obviously, we're reaching the All-Star break, which is a little. I mean, it's over halfway. I mean, what the teams have played around 53-ish games out of the 82, so there's still 30 left.
Yeah.
Um, who are some risers? Who are some fallers? Who do we think control their destiny, control or uh, are in a hot seat, I guess, in some trouble.
In my team that's in huge trouble, is the 76ers.
Mm.
Embiid is out. They did get Buddy healed, but I don't know how much that's going to help them. Right now, they're sitting at a healthy 5 seed, but that team, they're not playing the greatest basketball I've ever seen. You know what I mean? They did beat the Cavs last night. But they're squeaking by the Wizards. They're losing to the Hawks. And without that stud, I feel like you could easily see them drop into maybe even play in. Like I don't even think like
Yeah.
their spot
If
in the playoffs isn't solidified just yet, just because of how tight the East is
and
this
how
year.
important Embiid is, and depending on how long he's out, I don't know what
Yeah,
they're
it's
gonna
just
do, considering that he's no longer an MVP contender, like by rule. If they're gonna say, okay, maybe let's chill out with him. I
yeah.
agree. That was my take for the in trouble team.
Yeah, that's for my in trouble and my faller. But like Liam said earlier, my riser is probably the Pacers. They're I could see them getting hot, and I really like what Liam's insight on that.
We want to talk about I want to talk about another riser. You mentioned the Pacers, and I agree. The Pacers, I've always liked Tyrese Halliburton. I think he's really good, and I think that Pacers team is, like they said in the play-in, young and hungry. But
Mm.
if we want to talk about risers, we cannot ignore the team that's on a 5-5 game streak.
They are. They are.
Just took down the Suns in expert fashion at the hands of Mr. Bang himself, Mike Breen. And so, I mean, yeah, they're on a 5-game win streak. They were flirting with second to last in the West, and they looked like they could not figure it out. Kaminga's getting more minutes. Pajemski's making a difference. Draymond Green, as washed as he may seem and as a much of a problem and a headache he might be, honest to God, he made a difference in these 2 games. He made a difference, and he's also just that veteran leadership. I don't think the future is as bright as some other teams, but you got Pajemski, you got Moody, you got Kaminga, you got Trace Jackson Davis. I think the Warriors are finally, it's a little late, but they're finally clicking in some way. So where I think they'll be a playing team this year.
I can see that. They are obviously hot, but they do kind of have a rough schedule coming up. And a team that doesn't really have the hardest schedule coming up is my riser in the West, which would be the Kings. They have played a
Mm.
little iffy lately, but they're sitting in a similar spot as the not they're like what 4 games above the Warriors. They're sitting in that little middle of the pack, but they
Yeah.
do have a very young, talented team. Play Fox is playing well. Sabonis is playing well. He got robbed from the All-Star game, in my opinion. But that team, I could see them getting pretty hot, and maybe, talking about the Pelicans, maybe they could make a case for that 5 seed, make a case for that 4 seed.
Absolutely. The Kings are weird to me. They were the 3 seed in the playoffs last year, the most exciting and electric team in the league. Mike Brown was like an almost, if not unanimous, coach of the year. I mean, what he had done to that poverty franchise and turned them into one of the most exciting teams to watch. I is the West really that tight? I mean, they're 30 and 22, which isn't amazing, but why'd they fall off so hard is my question. Like obviously a winning record and in the playoffs. Oh, they're technically in the play-in right now. They're 7, but I don't know what really changed. Is it like a extreme lack of defense? I know they have one of the best offenses, but
They they did lose a couple guys. They lost Monk. They lost the, the team isn't as exciting as last year because they did lose a couple of the guys that were fun. But I just think that, the NBA is kind of a hard team. I mean, outside of the Warriors being that super team, but it's hard to repeat success. Like you can stay in the
Mhm.
playoffs as a playoff team, but to be that good year in and year out is a really, really hard feat to do. So I wouldn't chop it up to them being like, oh, this is weird. Maybe they're sucking. It's more like the league has figured them out because now they're finally a team to watch.
Yeah, I actually really like that point you made about being hard to repeat success. Because I mean, it's true. You look at okay, you can't really say the Nuggets aren't repeating success. The Nuggets are still one of the best teams in the league, but they're shakier. They're losing some games and getting blown out some games that they you would not say return defending champs.
Yeah.
And so I like that point. I like the tightness of the West, honestly. The fluctuation every single time. It's exciting. Um, the good guys took firm control of the top spot again, as it always should have been. But you know, the fact I really like, and it's not because I'm a fan. I really like that a Clippers versus Timberwolves or a Timberwolves versus Thunder game in this year is like cinema. If you tell me that the Timberwolves, the Clippers, and the Thunder when Russ left, if you tell me that those teams are fighting atop the conference like years ago, like Liam said, you'd be laughed at. I mean, these
Yeah.
are franchises that are not used to being up here, and now they're like seriously making noise, and it's exciting. It's very exciting.
It's very exciting, but that's also with the Kings, they're gonna start getting watched out for, so that's why it's hard. Because once you start making noise, other teams are gonna know, like they're gonna watch you more, they're gonna know your ins and outs. And that's why I feel like utilizing the trade deadline or utilizing the trades uh would have been beneficial to a lot of teams that didn't make moves, but you live and you learn, and I'm excited to see how the rest of the season plays out.
All right. Any last minute notes with the National Basketball Association? I think we've covered it well, and I think we're going to keep covering it well as more episodes come out and the season progresses. I'm actually really excited for the All-Star game since they've reverted back to the East-West format. That's kind of cool. I'm
Yeah.
excited for Steph v. Sabrina. Um, Dunk contest looks mid as hell. I'm not gonna lie. It's fallen
Jacob
off
Toppin, baby.
Ever since Levine versus Aaron Gordon. It's just been downhill, but it should be excited. Plus, you know, Chris Finch is coaching, and that makes me happy because he was generally on the sideline. Looks like one of the most unenergetic men I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
But what he's done
He
with
looks
his
like a
team
stockbroker.
is actually impressive. All right. Unfortunately, we have some very sad news for you, folks. We will not have a round of Dullah's debates this week. Supposed to be Dullah v. Davison. Obviously, Davison is
Back on
battling
a
IR again. It's really tragic. We wish the best recovery for him. He's day to day, but we'll see if he comes back. Hopefully, he's back and we can get back on Dullah's debates. But we cannot have it this week. So we're gonna go right to hot or not and close this one out. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Hot or not, you know the rules. Everyone makes a hot take. We give them some points, and then we see if they land. Right now, Danny has two pending takes. Abdullah has one. Of course, Danny Abdullah has had by the end of this month that the Bulls and the Knicks, respectively, will be in certain spots. Some of those are looking good, some of those are not, whatever. And then Danny had an all-star game take. Um, Danny and Davison, once again, will be offered two when they come back, just out of fairness. But we're not going to skip this segment because we also have our hot takes. So,
All right.
Liam, kick us off.
Okay. So I just touched on this in the last segment, is the Pelicans, and they've kind of under the radar, they've kind of been pretty hot. They have won 7 of their last 9, which I did not realize until just now. So if you could see me like mouthing numbers, that's what I was doing. But they have like a mixed schedule coming up. Their next 5 games are the Wizards, Heat, Rockets, Bulls, and then Knicks to end it off. I think they win 4 of those 5 games.
Ooh.
Can you repeat them one more time? Oh, I should have been paying attention to the actual teams.
Wizards, Rockets, Heat, Bulls, Knicks.
They win 4 though. They lose to the Knicks.
I'm gonna go 3 because yes, it's a little bit iffy, but I feel like they have a chance in every single one of those games.
You know what? I just need points, bro. I need to get on the board.
I say 2 because they should beat the Wizards.
Come on, Nate. You love me. Give me a 3. Come on. Come on.
Winning 4 games
my problem is that they're hot right now. And those teams are not good except for the Knicks.
For any team
Nate,
outside of the 2015 Warriors, 4 games.
I will just say, yes, they're hot, but they only put up 10 points in the fourth quarter today. So,
all right, I'll give you a 3.
They are hot, but they're a little weird. They're a little weird.
You got it out. You got it out of me. All right, I'm really welcome.
I need to look up this. I need to look this up because I know I'm not going to know much about it.
Abdul, you want to? Oh yeah, I'm going to get my Safari out too.
Okay. Let me give you some background then, boys. So I am a huge UFC fan, and there's a huge fight card coming up and the main event is between Alexander Volkanovski, who is pound for pound one of the greatest fighters of all time, and right now he's the greatest fighter that has ever fought in the featherweight division. He has never lost a fight in the featherweight division. He is on a 5 title fence. He's had the title for 5 straight defenses. No one has been able to take it from him the minute he's gotten it. With that being said, he fights the number 3 ranked in his division, Ilia Topuria, who is a young Spaniard out of Spain. He has insane knockout power. He is cocky. He is confident. They're going to go at each other. This is going to be a banger. I think Topuria is going to upset Volkanovski and hand him his first ever title loss. And here's why. Last time Volk has fought, he fought Makhachev trying to go get another belt in the lightweight division. Makhachev is probably the best fighter in the UFC now. What happened is Volk went in there without fully training. He went on short notice and he got knocked out. Like I mentioned before, Topuria is a knockout artist. Once you get knocked out once, it's easier to get knocked out again. Volk's chin is weak. He is coming off a full fight camp, and full fight camp Volk has never lost. But this Topuria guy, you don't want a weakened chin against him because he will knock you out, and I feel like that's what's going to happen this Saturday.
Considering what you've told me and us about how he has 5 defending titles?
Yep. Once he's been the last 5 people that have ever tried to take the belt from him.
I'll go 5. I'll say
4. You made some good points on why, coming off of this, and this guy, Ilya, is a good knockout master. I think I'd say 4.
I can agree with 4 just because Topuria has not lost through 14 fights.
And those are like baby. Yeah, they're not baby fights either. He's fought some.
Yeah, absolutely. And Volkanovski is 35. So and like you said, he got knocked out recently. I'm a little hesitant to I'm hesitant to bet my life savings on Volk for this fight, just because you have and in every sport you see these quick risers and these gradual descenders meeting at this point. I'll take Topuria. I'll take the risers, but it is still quite hot, so I'll give it a 4.
And I will advise you guys, Liam, you should come down and watch it with us because you're gonna be into the UFC fully. It's probably it's up there for it could be my second favorite sporting organization. I just love it. But yeah, I'm not mad at those takes. But we should see what happens.
All right, my take. I'm upset. I got a little comfortable last time. I take halfway there. I'm gonna say I wasn't expecting my take to be halfway correct by Mahomes throwing the pick. But
I agree.
it's whatever. Nevertheless, I don't get half of the points for only half, so that sucks. But I learned my lesson about playing it safe and doing a weak bet. This is hot or not, and I'm gonna go hot. You gotta keep it exciting, and so I'm gonna keep it exciting. Just coming up in 3 days, so Friday, yeah, no, Thursday, Thursday. There will be a game played in basketball. One team, according to ESPN Analytics, is a 96.7% favorite to win that game because they're also at home. And they also happen to be the number 2 team in the nation. My pick is that the University of Minnesota Golden Gophers upset Purdue at home. Oops, I broke the flag.
So they're
So
going
Minnesota's
to
going to
Mackey.
Mackey on Thursday, and I say that Minnesota's been pretty good. They blew it against Iowa, embarrassing, but they had a really good game against Michigan State, and since then they've been pretty good. Now it's Purdue, and it's an away game. Minnesota seems to be a little bit better than average at teams on an away game. I mean, they look pretty darn good away at Iowa, although it didn't look like there was a major crowd there. And so I think it's a 5 worthy, but I'm swinging for the fences.
Okay, you go ahead.
Okay, they're. I'm noticing this now, but they're such a bipolar team. They lost 4 straight to Indiana, Iowa, Michigan State, and Wisconsin before then turning around and winning 3 straight to Penn State, Northwestern, and Michigan State. And then should have been 4 straight. You're right. It should have been 4 straight with Iowa, but it wasn't. They ended up blowing it because Owen Freeman is him. But that's beside the point. I just, because of like this hot and cold thing, I'll give you a 4. I'm hesitant to give you a 5 because of how just up and down college basketball is as a sport, and how upsets are probably more likely in this sport than any other sport. Just because of how like, even though teams are more evenly matched than we like to admit, because
There's so
they
much
are
parity.
D1 athletes. Because they are D1 athletes, no matter what.
Mhm.
These are D1 athletes who train in D1 gyms, are taught under D1 coaches, compete against other D1 athletes. I mean, that's just it's a
Yeah.
perfect competition. So it's
Yeah.
gonna have to be a 4 for me.
Here's my
I'm
thing.
gonna
Here's my thing about the Gophers after having watched their last 2 games, that being Michigan State and Iowa. It reminds me a lot about Nebraska. The thing about that happened in those 2 games, Cam Christie was popping off. They were hitting their shots. They were getting good looks, mainly from 3, and they were hitting their shots. Obviously, the Iowa game was just a complete choke job. You can't put any excuse on that. That was just a choke job. But it didn't help that Dawson Garcia went out and never returned to the game, and he is the catalyst on the offense. He averages 18 points, the most on the team. Also an expert rebounder because he's tall. Dawson Garcia did go out, and that's when the offense went completely cold against Iowa. Not an excuse for why they lost. I'm just saying when he was there, they looked like a damn good basketball team. So obviously it's burning hot, but like, not impossible. It's not impossible.
I'm gonna give you a 5 because Purdue is 12-0 at home. They've lost 2 games just in the Big Ten, but those have been away. They're on an 8-game winning streak, and in my opinion, outside of PBA bias, but Mackey might be the hardest stadium to win in because it is compact. The fans are on top of you, and they are gonna sell it out every single time just because how good Purdue is. And I don't think Minnesota has that DNA. I mean, obviously anybody can upset anybody, but they don't have that upset DNA to go into the number 2 teams. If it was in Minnesota, maybe. But it's going to Purdue where this year every Big Ten team outside of Michigan has been crazy at home. It's hard to beat any Big Ten team in their stadium, let alone Purdue who hasn't lost yet.
Yeah.
So I just don't think I think it's a 5 for me because I just can't see Minnesota walking into Mackey and beating them, especially knowing how crazy Purdue fans are.
Yeah, good point. Speaking of Minnesota, we're quick side tangent, not drag on too long, but just like a quick opinion from you guys. We look at the big Purdue, Illinois, Wisconsin are pretty solid. Well, unless Wisconsin keeps losing at the 1, 2, 3. Battle for the 4 spot right now is between Northwestern, Michigan State, Minnesota, and Nebraska. Really, the 4 best teams that have a shot for that double bye.
Mm-hmm.
Who do we think comes out of that pack? Bias or not?
Looking at schedule wise, I'm gonna go Nebraska. Honestly, Nebraska, they have the easiest schedule out of all these teams.
I would like
Wisconsin,
that.
if Wisconsin figures it out, they're the answer, but they've lost 4 straight. They're just not clicking, and Nebraska's coming off of a huge win at PBA. They're playing Penn State next, and they got Ohio State. They got teams that they can easily beat, and assuming they do, I can see them sneaking in there, especially with Wisconsin kind of taking a little poop on their
Yeah.
this
Do we
last.
think Wisconsin should be still re-ranked after a 4-game losing
No.
streak?
No, they're
at
gonna be
20 right now.
I don't think anyone deserves to be ranked after dropping 4 straight, even if you're the number 1 seed. 4 straight is no. That's just that immediately. I'm gonna go Michigan State. His schedule is a big factor. They've won 3 out of their last 4. Minnesota is their 1 loss, and yeah, and they just beat a very good Illinois team by 8. They're at home, but their upcoming schedule is Penn State, Michigan, Iowa, Ohio State, and then they have 2 tough games in Purdue and Northwestern, and then Indiana to finish off the season. The only loss that I'm going to predict is Purdue because it'll be in Mackey, but they have Northwestern at home. They have Iowa at home. Not that you would necessarily be concerned about Iowa, but away games have been really tough this year on everybody.
I know we've dogged on them, but Wisconsin just lost at Michigan. You lose. That's how crazy it is.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't beat anybody in the Big Ten when they're at their house. So
any given Sunday is a phrase I heard a lot growing up, but it's truly any given Sunday. So
now it's any given day of the week.
Any day at all.
Any day of the week.
Any day
now. All right, well, we'll talk a little more college basketball. Baby. Obviously, once again, with football winding down and March Madness right around the bend. When Davison gets back, we'll obviously hit a lot more college basketball. That's kind of his thing. We missed that talk this week. Obviously, he's still on IR. But as is Danny, we hope they're back next week. But we're glad we said, you know what, we're not gonna not produce an episode. I mean, come on, we got to keep our viewers entertained. So we weren't gonna leave you guys hanging. We'll do 3. We'll do 2 if it's just a conversation between the 2 people. Whatever. We're gonna try our best to have something every week, unless it's humanly impossible.
Do 1. We will do 1.
And trust me, I am not taking my bye week lightly. I'm gonna come in hot next week for debate. Be ready.
Oh, I'm excited. I might have to change a couple of the topics.
Maybe.
Come next week, but Duels Debates will return next week. That's a promise, as long as Davison gets cleared to play by his doctor. But for now, we had fun. Abdullah Rustamov, Liam McCann, I'm Nathan. And until next week, see you later.